welcome to another episode of The Creators Outlet. If you're watching us on Facebook or Twitter, please consider jumping over to our normal page at Creators Outlet on YouTube and subscribe. You can also find us at many other places. Just check Linktree for Creators Outlet. And we welcome our special guest today to talk about his book that just launched today. Joshua, correct?
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me on. How you doing today?
You're welcome. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, now my first question is going to be, how do you pronounce your comics brand?
Eudaimonia or eudaimonia. It's a very old word. So I don't think there's any definitive way to pronounce it. If you get the sounds out, you're close enough.
Cool. And this isn't your first rodeo. You've got a couple of other series that you've put out. You like a lot of noir stuff.
This is my first foray into This is my first foray into noir. My first couple books were kind of weird, surrealist war tales called Eudaimonia. I then did a horror book called How to Die, and now this is the era of NOIRLEM. It's a noir detective series. It takes place in 1920s Harlem, hence the wordplay, noir plus Harlem equals NOIRLEM.
So why don't you give us an origin story on yourself and how you wound up here creating comics?
So a couple of years ago, I graduated from the University of Oregon. I studied English literature. I studied history and philosophy. And I ended up doing some comic studies. I read comics as a kid. And I just kind of found it to be, and I did creative writing also. When I got out, I wanted to tell stories, but I couldn't really find the right fit, the right format. And when I plugged what I was writing into comics, I just found it to be a natural fit because I'm not a very wordy writer. My storytelling style is to just tell you what happened in what order. I don't spend pages talking about rocks that are in the background. So comic books and graphic novels were just kind of a natural fit for the way that I write. And I found it to be just the most efficient way of storytelling and expressing myself creatively, and I've been doing it ever since.
Very cool. Now, this book takes place in 1920s Harlem. Did you do a lot of research on Harlem in that time period?
When I was in school, the Harlem Renaissance was my favorite art movement to just read, to just explore. So I had a lot of background going in, but to answer your question, I did an extensive amount of research into lingo, geography, getting the look and the feel of the book as close to, the roaring 20s as I could. But another challenge of it was, a lot of our ideas about the roaring 20s come from like really glitzy parties and, what the kind of upper crust of society was doing. So it required a lot of research into what life was like for ordinary people, ordinary working Joes in the different neighborhoods along the Hudson River.
Yeah, because I find that, Sin Killer, Marv V, welcome, sir. I like stories that include, they can be twisted and turned to fit the narrative, but I like things that take history into account for things.
So just to give you an idea of how thorough my research was, the book takes place in 1929. The reason why it takes place in 1929 is because there's a scene where one character they're in kind of like an awkward moment. And so in order to keep their cover, one of them has to punch the other one in the face because he's about to spill the beans and give it up. So he punches him in the face, and then, they go back to base, right? And one of them has to gives the other one a bag of frozen peas, to put on his face where he hit him.
Mm-hmm.
Frozen peas weren't around until 1929. So that's why the story takes place in 1929, because otherwise there would be no frozen peas to soothe his wounds.
Yeah. And there's not a lot of people with frozen steaks around back in 1929 either. So
Exactly.
I'm just sharing out the link since Twitter got rid of the other platform that used to broadcast there. They don't like share comments out from the guests or the host. So just getting that out and pinning it to the profile so people on Twitter can see it. And hey, Pops, how are you? I really like the look of the book, and I really dug the jazzy music for the trailer. So I want to give everybody a look into the book, and we will check this out. So, for starters, who made the trailer?
Yo.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. No, I was saying, yo, I made it.
Oh, okay. I was slightly confused. I'm trying to
Oh no, sorry.
manage a couple of different screens. So, you made it yourself,
Yep.
And the music. Where'd you get the music from?
Oh, there's a whole database of royalty-free, copyright-free music.
Oh, cool.
As long as you credit the person who made it in the description, you're fine to use it. And I learned that lesson because my previous campaign actually got shadow banned on Indiegogo because I used copywritten music in a trailer, and so they just disappeared the campaign. So I might be an idiot, but I do learn from my mistakes.
Yeah, I've come up on that a few times. I'm involved with Outright Geekery, and we get promotional material, and we share other promotional material. And every time we share anything that has to do with the big mouse, we get a ban notice, and then like 10 minutes later, they've unstruck us, and everything's hunky dory. Once again. Marv really digs the artwork. So, upon creating this, what inspired you the most?
So, my wife and I just watch a lot of murder mysteries, and I don't just mean like American ones. The BBC has like 10 of them at any given time on the air. We've watched them from Australia, from New Zealand. We know the genre in and out. And being somebody who with a background in Harlem Renaissance literature, I just couldn't help but notice that there just weren't a lot of black detectives in the genre. It's like this huge archetype. And so if you were to say to me, like, can you name a detective that's a magician? I would be able to name a TV show about a magician / detective TV show. But if you were asking me to name one, about just a main character who's black, I can't think of all that many. There's In the Heat of the Night, there's Luther, but a lot of those are a little bit more action oriented.
Mhm.
So we were watching the show, this BBC murder mystery called Death in Paradise, and it takes place in Jamaica. So you would think that like the detective would be black, but every character on the show is except for the detective. Like they went out of their way just to make, to bring over, have only one character, and it's the detective. But like when I saw that, I was like, I love the Harlem Renaissance. I want to make this character exist, and that was just kind of the spawn of it. Is like, how many times do you hear the saying like, if you want to see new things, make it yourself? That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to have this character exist, and I came up with the name Coleman Carmichael, and I just thought it was a cool detective sounding name, and it was basically off to the races.
Yeah, Marv's throwing out Luther, which was a BBC series, which I
Yep.
watched and enjoyed. You might know that actor from a little show about
The Wire.
The Wire. He was in The Wire. He was in Walking Dead.
Yeah, I know The Wire pretty pretty intimately. My wife's family from Baltimore, so when you see those really rough neighborhoods, I probably spend a night or two there.
Yeah, they're actually there. They're real. The one that comes to mind for me is going to be Shaft. So,
Yeah,
but
but again, I think that's just
those are
it's
both
more of an
more.
action.
Yeah,
This is
they're
more.
more action, and
Yeah,
they're they're modern. They're not
yeah.
they're not going
This
back. But
book is just all about like deductive reasoning. Um, Here's a mystery, and the main character has to put the pieces together, or I guess main characters.
because there's quite a few characters that you've brought into this, but it's a 90-page noir detective graphic novel set in 1920s Harlem. You've already hit your flexible goal. You have 635 USD and 18 backers with 30 days left because you just launched today.
Yeah, man, we hit the ground running.
Just the Facts Man, the featured tier is $25. The Just the Facts Robot, which is the digital version, or as I like to call it, the Australian variant, is $15.
The Bogan book.
The Vogan, yes, indeed. So tell me about the cover.
So this was done by Kanan White, amazing artist. Colors by Jesse Heege. When I had done my first campaign, I did a stream with Antonio Bryce on his channel,
Mm-hmm.
and I mentioned that one of the stories that was being unlocked was called the Harlem Hellfighter. And Antonio said, "Well, Kanan and I did a book called the Harlem Hellfighters," and so I had no idea. So when I started to do this story, there was only one person that I wanted to do this cover, and it was Kanan White, who I can't say
Oh,
enough
yeah.
about.
Oh, Mark says, sorry, Luther with Idris Elba. So apparently not the BBC version.
No, it's on BBC.
Is it? Oh, well.
Yep.
And I like the for fans of section when people do it. If you like this stuff, you're gonna love this book. Sin City, Chinatown, The Untouchables, L.A. Noir, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which I really like. The Long Goodbye, Gotham Noir, Bronx Kill, and Stray Bullets that I really liked.
Yeah, because this is kind of it's such a cemented genre, it's such a cemented archetype.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be sure to get out in front with like, hey, Here's what I was pulling influences from. I'm not reinventing the wheel here. This is just a really good murder mystery set in a time period that maybe you haven't seen it done before.
And a 24-hour sale today only. How about a light $30 gets you the book and the NOIRLEM Zippo.
Ah, shoot, man. I was looking around for it. It's right in my pocket. Yep, we got the NOIRLEM Zippo. Nice and flashy and gold. You get that really satisfying sound that.
Oh yeah.
Every good detective needs a Zippo, so if you get tied to a chair, you got a way out.
Yeah, and just don't give it to your father to burn out. He might have Indiana Jones.
He might set the carpet on fire. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh yeah, we got to block somebody. All right, boom. There we go.
The Ruskies are here. Well, it's the 20s, so it's right in the middle of the Red Scare. That makes sense.
Yeah, they're like, oh, they're bringing back Tommy guns.
Yeah.
Oh, I used to love Tommy guns. I used to have a toy one when I was a kid. I thought it was great.
So in that trailer, you heard that gunshot. I had an editor tell me that I had an editor look at the script and just give it like a once over.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that I had referenced, I think it was a 32. And he said, no. Everybody back then, if you're a civilian and he had a pistol, the odds are you're going to have a 38.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to find the sound just for the trailer of an actual 38 snub-nose pistol just for that little gunshot in the trailer.
Oh, nice. A little authenticity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So tell me about the PDF of your comics library.
So that's the whole bundle. That's Eudaimonia number 1, Eudaimonia number 2, How to Die, and NOIRLEM. All delivered safe in a sturdy PDF. So if you want to get caught up on everything, there you go. There you have the NOIRLEM How to Die physical bundle. So it's a little bit of horror with your mystery.
Mm-hmm.
You get both variants and the copy of NOIRLEM, all signed.
For $40. Are they all? What's the format on all of them? Like approximately 90 pages, because I know NOIRLEM's 90.
NOIRLEM's 90 pages. This is just it's kind of like an extended floppy. It's like 30 pages.
Okay. Except it's 30 story pages as opposed to 12 story pages from other publishers with weird initials. Play it again, Sam. Get you 2 copies of the book.
Yep. If people want to go in and save on shipping.
Yep. Retailer bundle. Talk to us about your retailer bundle.
You get 5 copies and the Zippo for 90 plus shipping.
Oh, nice. So that would allow a store to hold a contest for people that are buying the book to give the Zippo away, or obviously keep it for themselves, or do one bundle with
in the store
with the Zippo and the book, and then just the regular books, and a first edition bundle.
Yeah, so I've done a couple reprints now, but I always hang on to some of the first editions. All of my first editions have a little gold stamp that you can kind of see in the bottom left-hand corner. That just marks it as the first edition. I'm running out. I think I have 10 or 12 of Eudaimonia 1 and 2 left. So very limited quantity. This is the bundle you're going to get. Eudaimonia number 1 first edition, Eudaimonia number 2 first edition, both How to Die variants in first edition, a copy of NOIRLEM, and the Zippo for $120.
Nice. That's a bargain right there too, though.
Yeah, I think it's something close to I think it's around 200 pages of story altogether.
Yeah, and with the average price of a fundraiser indie comic, like right around the $25 price range, just for the book alone. you're you're saving a few bucks plus getting the custom Zippo too. So I really like the way the panels are laid out on this too.
Yeah, I feel like I struck a gold mine with the artists I found in this. They really do amazing work. I love how it looks like it looks like a little bit watercolor.
Yeah, it's got, you can see like color saturation at certain points, and the lighting in the panels is just wonderful, really.
Yeah, so the book starts off in that's basically the apartment building that Coleman lives in.
Hmm.
There's a party next door, and there's a mysterious death. The drummer for the band goes into the bathroom, and then someone else comes in, and he's dead, and nobody knows what happened. But he has a needle sticking out of his leg, and the cops show up, and they kind of have this attitude of like, "Oh, he's got a needle in him. Well, it must have been a needle, and he's on the toilet. It must have been an overdose."
Hmm.
So Coleman comes along and he says, "No, like there's more going on here than what you realize. You should really give it another look." And the younger of the two detectives takes him up on it, and he looks into it, and he finds that the needle had nothing on it. It was completely clean. And so he goes to visit Coleman, and he's like, "What's happening here?" And Coleman basically explains exactly what happened. Like he's figured it all out, and he knows exactly what happened. And so that kind of ticks off, kind of tips off the younger detective that like, wow, this guy's pretty sharp. And so the younger detective goes back and he has these series of murders that he just doesn't know what's going on, but he has a feeling that they're all kind of connected. And so he goes to Coleman, and together they team up and they kind of figure out that yeah, there's something going on here. There's a serial killer on the loose, and then the hunt is on, and they go off in the search for the Hudson River Killer, and that's the main story of the book.
And many murders to follow. I always had a thing for like noir stuff. I was a big fan of The Shadow,
Hmm.
and for a while I was like, retro everything. So, opposed to buying like, a movie on, dare I say, VHS, I would buy albums of the old radio shows, Sherlock Holmes, The Shadow, of course, like, Batman and Superman, and that whole Power Records line that was going on. And I just, I go, this is cool. It's cool. It's different, and it's just, more imaginative. I think with that than it is of, you know watching it play out on the screen.
The Sin Killer just said the funniest thing in the chat, where he says the bassist is the murderer. I swear, I'm writing book 2 of this, and
Mm-hmm.
again, there's a kind of unusual murder on the first pages of the book, same as this one, and it was the bass player. So
Marv,
him
spoilers.
he just he just predicted. Unreal.
It's always the bassist or the keyboard player if they have one.
Yeah, so jazz is going to be kind of a theme that weaves throughout the entire universe of the story, or the series. And then this page is pretty much summarizes me as a dialogue writer. It's just one of my favorite pieces of dialogue I've ever written.
Of course, now I'm not saying anything because I'm reading the dialogue. And there's the punch you talked about.
Yeah, it's just this kind of funny moment where Coleman goes to meet these two guys to kind of get a little bit of information if they've seen anything. And Coleman, being kind of naive, follows him, and they catch him. Like, who's that? And Coleman starts walking up like, "Oh, hey, it's okay, guys. I'm a police officer. I'm here with," and then he punches him. Because, he's a little bit naive, so he doesn't realize it's saying, "Oh yeah, I'm with this guy right here." Might not make Coleman look too good in the neighborhood.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Just
like,
shady characters.
Yeah, don't talk to the fuzz, man.
Yeah, so he basically has to knock him out to get him to stop talking.
Marv used to be a bassist, so okay, Marv, we see you.
Yeah, I mean, he's just untrustworthy.
Yeah, and it's got a very cool like tilt angle to the alley too, so it's.
Yeah, I actually have to update further down. There's a progress image, and I have to update it because I, just in the last hour, got this back from the letterer. So I immediately had to throw it up there.
Oh, nice. So progress so far, pencils and inks are about 90% complete. Colors are almost halfway there. And letters are about a quarter of the way there.
Yeah, I had to change letters. I just wasn't happy with the one I had, so I had to start all over again.
Oh,
and so
yeah.
that's why it's so far behind. But it's getting caught up.
And the Detective Zippo. And it comes in a nice tin case. I was on a Zippo kick for quite a while, so there we go. Nice case.
Yeah, it's you know what? I was kind of brainstorming ideas for perks, and it's like, I see all these stickers and patches, and I was just like, man, that just doesn't feel very 1920s. What would? And I arrived on the Zippo, and I was like, yeah, that'd be really cool if I could get that done. And it turns out, you get Zippos, you can order custom Zippos in bulk. It's really not, as hurtful to the wallet as you would imagine, especially if you order a ton of them.
Yeah, and I know when you go to buy them from the store from the little revolving case, you find your favorite one in there, and it's like, oh yeah, it's like $30 to $50, and I'm like, really? Because it's a pleasure for you to refill your Zippo every time.
Yeah,
I would usually spill the ingredients more on me, and be fearful of actually flicking it on to light my cigar.
yeah. Well, you remember those jet ones, the ones that are like a little mini jet engine?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I thought those were cool when I was a kid.
Yeah, I call them out as the cracklators. Marv, I've shared the show on my Facebook. Sorry, but I gotta go. Dinner time. The book looks great. Be safe, guys. Marv, take care.
Appreciate it,
Thanks for
brother.
dropping in, man. So you're already working on the second book for this. Is this going to be an ongoing series, or do you have a finite number of issues that you have planned for this?
I would say it'll probably be an ongoing series. This one's going to be a little bit different from my previous books because this book has actually been picked up by a publisher. So,
do tell.
Well, I can. I signed a non-disclosure agreement, so I can't really talk much about it.
Agreements.
Yeah, but the contracts have been signed. The good news is that means my backers are going to be getting, books printed by professionals rather than me doing it myself. So while I thought my previous books were fine, I'm looking forward to seeing the difference and seeing what these guys can do with it. So that also means that I have to put a lot more effort into things like a back cover or a spine, those kind of details that they're going to expect.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll still be producing indie comics on my own, like other titles. So the last book I did, the horror book, was titled How to Die #1. How to Die #2 is in the works, and what I'm doing for this campaign is at the end of every day. You remember that scene from Major League where they're peeling off pieces of the cardboard of the owner, and she's naked underneath? And
Mm-hmm.
for every win, they peel off another piece. For every backer I get every day, I'm going to reveal another small piece of the cover for my next book. So it'll be like
A
the
jigsaw puzzle, yeah.
backers will create the unveiling of the cover.
Does that mean there might possibly be an add-on for a jigsaw puzzle?
Oh man, I don't know. These perks these days, man, I can't keep up with it anymore.
I
I
know
thought the
it's
Zippo was I think the Zippo is about as creative as I get. There are other perks with this book here, but the problem is I can't say what they are because it's a mystery. So if I tell you what extra things are coming with it, it gives away details of the book. So all I'll say is there are other things that backers are going to get. I just can't say what they are yet.
will they be revealed at some point, or are you keeping them secret and a surprise for when they get their packages?
I'm keeping it secret because what it is they're going to get to the end of the book, and in the actual book, there will be a perk that interacts with the reader the way the end of the book interacts with itself. So I know that sounds really weird and convoluted. But I can't say what it is. There's just going to be this really cool moment for people who read the book, and there's going to be something there, like a little surprise at the end.
Very interesting. Now, are you planning to re-up at the end of the 30 days, or are you doing a strict 30-day campaign?
Probably re-up. I don't. When I first started doing this, I thought that was silly. Um, but man, I've spent so much time studying campaigns and seeing the effect that actually has that I've begrudgingly come on board with that.
Yeah, it's never a bad thing to to keep it up for like another 30 days to to make more money, and then you can keep it there as the storefront
Yeah,
until you launch another one.
not just the storefront, but the ending soon queue on Indiegogo.
Mm-hmm.
So people looking for stuff that's about to end, you'll be on there twice. Hail, Critical
Oh,
Blast.
RJ, how are you? I got that other package in the mail just before I went to the hospital. So you've got book number 2 of this. You're working on book number 2 of your horror series. Anything else in the works?
Eudaimonia 3, the final Eudaimonia series. It's going to be like just a series of short stories, like an anthology. And I'm going to be shooting for having a different artist for each one. So it's going to be something weird, wild, and different like the first two, but it just won't be the same thing as far as the art. I'm just looking to get as many styles in there as I can.
Yeah, I know a couple other creators I know that work on their own book. They have a different art team every single issue.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, pops. Um, they look they told me they like to do that. Uh, it gets a new, fresh aspect on the ongoing story, and it puts more artists to work.
Yeah.
So they get new indie artists and a couple of different people for their main and variant cover, and merchandise up. But yeah, I like seeing different different aspects, especially like on on certain genres.
Hmm.
You know, it's I find it interesting, and I like I like this time period. That well, I like the Dark Ages too, but I'm a nerd. I'm supposed to like a bunch of different stuff. But I mean, like I said, like I like the shadow in a lot of those noir books. And I know a few years back, Dynamite did a series called Masks,
Hmm.
where they had uh, the Shadow, the Spider, uh, Green Hornet, and Kato, and a few others from like that, like 1930s, 1940s time period. So it was. I thought they did a great job on it, and Alex Ross covers. If you can afford them, they're great.
Yeah. It's just kind of funny the way it worked out. When I studied art and literature and all these things, um, that period, like just early 1900s, late 1800s, that
Hmm.
was just like my bread and butter where I kind of fell in. And the two biggest influences on my writing were the Harlem Renaissance, but also the World War One writers and poets and all that. So when I went to do books, it was Eudaimonia Neo was World War One, and now I'm kind of stepping into that other side, the Harlem Renaissance, basically.
Any thoughts about doing anything from World War II now?
I had never really considered it just because it's like, what could anybody possibly say that hasn't already been said? You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
I thought World War One there was just kind of a. This was before 1917 came out. Um, there just wasn't nearly like World War One media is like a drop in the bucket compared to World War Two. I
Yeah.
mean, just from movies, there's probably the amount of World War Two movies is probably longer than the war itself.
Oh yeah. I remember being in middle school and taking out. All I took out was books about World War II.
Yeah,
Battle over Midway and all kinds of stuff like that. Of course, I'd
I
taken
would
out like
say if
four or
I'm going to
five
go
times
in
to
any
finish reading them. But
direction, if I were to go in any direction historically, it would probably be backwards. So I had an idea for a book, and I haven't even started. It hasn't even begun to come together. But the next project I think I'm going to do is a book about um, aging old west cowboys versus young Chicago gangsters, because there's a very brief sliver of history where the old west was kind of fading away, and gangsters in the city were kind of new. So I don't think I've ever seen a story in which those two like kind of butt heads. You know what I mean?
mm,
So something like that of like just old west tough guys versus young gangster tough guys.
yeah, that's the westerns are making like a pretty good comeback. Story wise, in like the last couple of years too. People just want to get out of their headspace and you know drift as far away from the 2020s as possible.
Yeah, that's me. I'm just gonna go back in time.
Yeah, why not? You know,
I don't like it here.
I don't think anybody does. I want to go back in time where the only people that wore masks were bank robbers,
Yeah. Of
or train robbers, or stagecoach robbers, or you
course
know.
we say that, but we're talking on an unbelievable piece of technology that would be unfathomable, not that long ago.
Hmm. So, besides your own books, tell me something that you've read and wholeheartedly enjoyed.
Oh, let's see here. Well, let me show you what I'm reading right now. So that's what I'm
Oh,
reading at the moment.
that's a book. Basic Economics. You should go teach a class to the White House.
Well, I realize that if I were to talk about it, it would be helpful if I knew about it. So
Hmm.
Yeah. If I realize I don't really have a lot to say about something, or if I have a lot to say but I don't really have the knowledge base to back it up, um, I do something about it. Let's see, what else do we have here? We got Go Tell It on the Mountain. That's a great book. Cormac McCarthy's The Road. Ugh. Okay, you know what? I'll stop doing that. Oh, here we go.
The Max.
What could be better? I mean, I've read it like 100 times, but I never get tired of it.
Yeah, I think we've all got like that book, or like,
You can always go back to.
yeah, a
Like
story,
sitting down with an old
that
friend.
you always like. Yeah, go back in time. I mean, I've read the Dark Knight Returns and the Cult and the Batman line like so many times I can't count.
Watchmen.
Watchmen. I had somebody asked to borrow it, and then they disappeared. Then I got another trade paperback, and that disappeared. One got wet in the back of my Camaro when I was like 18, and more recent history, about 10, 15 years ago, I bought the hardcover. That's still here, but now I see they have a slipcase hardcover with a bunch of.
There's always a new edition.
A new edition with other books that are basically the world building secrets that they used for, the entire story. So there's always something good to read.
What about you? What have you read recently that you enjoyed?
I actually read Infantile Chronicles issue 1 today from Chris Fisk. It had been sitting next to me, and I'm like, I'm busting that one open. So I read that. I like that. I can't wait for issue 2 for that to come to Indiegogo.
Oh, I just read The Company Men. Did you get that?
No.
From Kimosabi and Dean on ComicsMate.
Oh yeah, I'm waiting for my copy of The Embrace to come in.
Okay.
From Ogden and Dean.
Well, I got my digital copy of The Company Men 10 minutes before midnight, so technically it came out last year.
Yeah, or it's just early for this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I hadn't seen that. I can't back everything that I want to. Budgetary reasons and stuff, but I like to always at least throw a little bit of cash, for a pledge without a reward thing.
Mm-hmm.
Donate something, throw a couple of bucks at it at least. Even if that's the most I can do, it's like, well, try to help out. And as always, I always like to encourage everybody to share out all the campaigns they see on all their social media. Tell friends about it. Share out the YouTube channels like this and many others, and podcasts, which this will be one of later on. So anybody that is interested in that, you can get a creators outlet. You can follow us on any podcast platform you like and listen away. It's free. So why don't you let everybody know where they can find you on social media, and we will share the link one more time for the campaign.
Well, if you want to take a crack at spelling Eudaimonia Comics, I'm Eudaimonia Comics on Twitter. You can find me on YouTube at Raiden Radio. That's Raiden as in Raiden from Mortal Kombat. That's about it. I don't really do anything else. But if you're interested in learning more about Indiegogo campaigns, I do a weekly series called Your Campaign Sucks, where I review campaigns that are just like It's not like to make fun of people for their campaigns. It's more like a study of like I look at a really crappy campaign that is just dead in the water and a campaign that is really, really good. And I compare them to one another. So to kind of just take a closer look at like what makes these campaign pages work, what makes them not work, and how to make it better. So when you want to make your campaign, you can come in, check out a show. We have a study session and learn how to make your campaign, a little bit more successful than it may otherwise have been. Also, I do random videos about like Ariana Grande, poker, and Italian food every now and then.
Ooh, Italian food. That's not on my.
I'm a Philadelphia boy, so
Oh yeah, my one of my cousins' husbands is a Philly guy. So they're living up in Maine now, but they might be the only people in Maine that are Eagles fans. So
well, you're up in New England, so you have the best pizza in the world, so you got that going for you.
yeah, south side of Boston.
Oh, I heard it was New Haven.
New Haven.
New Haven, Connecticut is supposed to have like better pizza than New York. That's just what I heard.
Uh, I'll have to ask a couple friends of mine from Connecticut.
Well, what we have in Philly is we call it the Philly taco. It's you go to Jim's on South Street and you get a cheesesteak, and then you go to the pizza shop on the corner where the slices are like this big,
Mm-hmm.
and then you put the pizza slice down, you put the cheesesteak on top, and you fold it over, and you got a Philly taco.
Oh, I'd be down for that in a heartbeat. I watch like some of the cooking challenges on TV, and I'm like, I just sit there drooling, and then I go have a protein shake for lunch because
Yeah.
I'm trying to lose the weight. He goes, why you drinking that? I go, because if I open up the fridge,
Yeah.
I'm gonna set back 6 months worth of weight loss. Like,
well, when we were in Philly a couple weeks ago, man, they have the Reading Terminal Market, which not that I brag about Philly, but I'll put the Reading Terminal Market against any other market in the country, and it was just like the best of everything you could possibly imagine for food. Like there's like Amish bakers, doing donuts and Fosnots in one corner. You got Peking duck with the ducks hanging and drying out under the fan. It was ridiculous. Like you could just anything you could ever want is going to be amazing there.
and it's all day fresh. So
Yeah, the farmers are coming in, they're dropping off their produce and all the meats and all that. It's ridiculous. It's like I think it's the largest market in the country.
oh, I love that. We've got some farmers markets around here, but they just passed a law in Massachusetts where unless you have free range hens, you can't sell eggs anymore.
America is a really weird place when it comes to eggs. The rest of the world, they don't even refrigerate them.
Yeah, well, they don't come out. They don't get born in a fridge, so. But yeah, it's just weird. Different things. I love stuff like that, like the fresh open markets, and to be able to go there and buy stuff. I used to have a seafood place by my mother's that was, they would cook certain things there, and that came in that day, and the rest was all up for sale, and a lot of people didn't. They had a big following, but most people just go to the market and buy whatever. I was buying nice big swordfish steaks there for like $6 a pound going back about 15 years ago. And a frozen one at like the local market was, like $10 to $12. I'm like,
Well, that's funny. When I lived on the East Coast, I would get like scallops and mussels, and they would just be dirt cheap. And now I'm on the West Coast, and they're like nobody can afford them. But salmon is like ridiculously cheap here. And then if you go out to Hawaii, tuna is ridiculously cheap. It's just whatever's around you.
Yeah, and You could probably trade a few cans of Spam for like a whole tuna.
Yeah.
It's weird, but yeah, I had a bunch of friends that I grew up with that became fishermen. A couple of them retired because of back problems from raking the quahogs. And I got another friend that runs a couple of ships up towards Maine for lobstering. So before 2001, we used to be able to go to the docks and wait for them at the end of the dock and buy like right off of them before they would sell the mass quantity to the stores and everything. So, well, that's getting me talking. I think I'm going to have to go cook some seafood.
There it is.
There it is. Well, I want to thank you for coming on and talking about this at the stream. There we go. NOIRLEM, the long and short of it. Book one.
Give it a little refresh.
Now available. Yeah, let's see where we are.
There it is.
From 18, 3 more backers. Nice. 21 backers, 30 days left, and a whole lot more shows going on.
Yeah.
You have no idea. I've seen Josh's calendar. It is pretty full.
Yeah.
So
after this one, I think I got an hour, and then I'm booked up till 1 in the morning.
Wow, that's a busy day, but it's good.
Yeah. No, I have nothing but appreciation for people that are willing to give us creators a shot, willing to talk to us, willing to help us get our books out there. You guys are the heroes. You do amazing work, and I can't ever say thank you enough.
Well, I appreciate what you guys do. Speaking of creators, and this is just fun for me because if I went to a convention, I'd just be in Artist Alley all day. Talking to, anyone that doesn't have me physically removed in my wheelchair. So, but I mean, the book looks great. I love the composition on the cover. It's 90 pages for $25, $30 if you want to get that cool looking Zippo. Of course, his entire library is available. Please go check out the campaign for yourself. The link is in the chat, at the beginning of the chat and at the end of the chat. And don't forget to jump in the show notes, and you can copy and paste his Twitter address so you can find him on Twitter because, like he said, spelling that out. Please follow him on Twitter and check out his YouTube page. Subscribe to him over there. I thank you for subscribing to mine. I saw that. And we will catch all of you later on. Have a wonderful weekend and get out and back this book, would you?
Thanks, everybody.